school guy with no powers, but a story worth telling. Even though Will is the son of two well-known heroes, the commander, Steve, and Jetstream, Josie, on his first day at Sky High, a floating school for superhero kids, Will tries to impress his parents by faking superpower but fails. Steve, unaware but proud, thinks Will continue his bravery. Lila, a plank-controlling closest friend of Will's, walks with him to school. Will and Lila must ride Ron's bus to school by themselves after Steve and Josie are called away to battle a gigantic robot. Will receives unwanted attention. The children are subsequently taken to Sky High as Ron throws the bus into the air. Bullies Lash and Speed prey on freshmen at Sky High until Gwen, the self-assured president of the student body, steps in. Gwen greets them cheerfully and gives them a tour of the school, and Will falls in love with her right away. Upon arriving in the auditorium, Principal Powers welcomes the pupils and informs them of the impending power placement exam, which will determine whether they are heroes or sidekicks. Larry, who turns into stone and is positioned as a hero, is the first person Coach Boomer tests powers on. Lila earns a place as a sidekick by refusing to use her capabilities. Will sees Warren Peace gazing at Zach as he complains about his situation during lunch. Warren's resentment is explained by Lila. The commander once put his evil father in jail. Later, Will is agitated but excited when he meets Gwen and accepts her invitation to join the homecoming committee. Then Will discovers that Speed and Lash are harassing Ethan. They attempt to enlist Will, assuming he is a hero, but he dismisses them without defending Ethan. Will must finally take the placement test. The coach tries to test Boomer's abilities by pushing him off the stage and lowering a car, almost crushing him, while whispering to him that he has no capabilities. Will slams onto the floor. Boomer humiliates Will by declaring that the son of great heroes is little more than a sidekick. Will later goes to the school clinic. Although she tells him he's okay, the nurse cautions that some children, like Ron, never acquire abilities. Will, discouraged, chooses to tell his father. Excited to learn about Will's first day, Steve shows him his trophy-filled, secret superhero lair and the pacifier, a royal pain gadget. Steve tells with pride how he met Josie as a result of that battle. Confident that they would fight together in the future, he even saves a spot for Wood's future prizes. Will loses his composure and remains silent when Steve asks what's wrong. Unbeknownst to them, Steve's adversaries are able to spy on him when a secret gadget from the enormous robot turns on. Will reflects on the day while sitting on the roof that evening. He is joined by Lila, who encourages him to be honest with his parents. Will and his buddies go to hero support class the following day, where Mr. Boyd tells them that sidekicks are equally as significant as heroes. Will is shocked when he proudly reveals that he used to be the commander and Jetstream's sidekick. Steve meets Will's buddies after school, but he is not impressed by their abilities. Steve becomes enraged when Will acknowledges that he and all of them are sidekicks, believing Boomer is to blame. Will maintains that he has no authority and that nobody is to blame. Steve is shocked and raises the possibility that Will is still a late bloomer. Lila later beams with pride as Will, happy that he told his father the truth, reunites with his pals. When Lash trips Will during lunch, he spills food on Warren. Warren attacks, throwing fireballs at Will out of wrath. Will apologizes, but Warren ignores him. Will abruptly picks up the table Warren is standing on and tosses it aside as Warren approaches. The fight ends when Lila throws a fire extinguisher to Will, who extinguishes the flames as Warren prepares another blazing explosion. Steve, who is overjoyed that Will has revealed his superpowers, gives him an Xbox as a gift but instructs him to keep it a secret from Josie while acting as though he reprimanded him. In the meantime, the baddies continue to watch Will's new abilities through the robot's device. Ethan jokes that Will has made sidekick history as his friends at school celebrate his accomplishment. Will is told by Mr. Boy that he has been promoted to hero classes. His pals encourage him to go even if he is hesitant to do so. Will is paired with Gwen, the teaching assistant, in Mr. Medulla's hero class. Will is having trouble with the job, so Gwen utilizes her technopathic abilities to aid him. Medulla chastises them and cautions Will to study on his own. After class, Gwen offers to tutor Will one-on-one and explains how she can manage technology. He is so excited that he agrees to meet her the following day at his residence. Will, who despises Chinese food, subsequently apologizes to Lila and surprises her by asking her to dinner at a Chinese restaurant that evening. She gladly agrees. Later, Will steps in when Lash and Speed bully Ethan and Zach. Encouraged by his friends, Will agrees to play Save the Citizen, betting that if he wins, the bullies will stop. Lash and Speed dominate the game early, using their powers to overwhelm Will and Warren. Will ties Lash to a pole, but he sees that Warren is struggling. Putting his teammate first, Will saves Warren and throws him to save the citizen just in time, winning the game. Warren walks away without acknowledging Will. That evening, Steve congratulates Will on his victory. Josie and Gwen wait in the kitchen, and Gwen is invited to dinner by Steve and Josie. Gwen reveals during the lunch that her father is no longer active as a hero, and that her mother passed away when she was a young girl. Steve and Josie gladly accept her invitation to the homecoming celebration so they can accept the Heroes of the Year honor. Warren, who works at the Chinese restaurant, joins her and discovers that Lila has feelings for Will. Although she initially denies it, she admits she likes him but feels inferior to Gwen. Warren encourages her to tell Will the truth. That evening, after tutoring, Gwen reveals she doesn't have a homecoming date, hinting she's been waiting for him to ask. Will is thrilled and agrees. Her father gives Will a tough warning not to hurt her, which makes him uncomfortable. Will encounters Lila outside the following morning. Lila, hurt, attempts to speak, but Will interrupts, announcing with excitement that Gwen is his homecoming date. Startled, Lila says she's going with Warren while feigning happiness. Lila tells Warren about her scheme in the cafeteria. Later, when Lila sees Will and Gwen holding hands, she rushes to Warren, stepping up her performance to agitate Will. While teaching that evening, Gwen receives a call regarding a homecoming fog machine that has been overlooked, and she requests that Will call a brief committee meeting at his home. Will is hesitant, but after Gwen displays disappointment, he accepts. Gwen transforms it into a party, which he finds disappointing. Uncomfortable, Will complies with Gwen's desire for privacy and defies his father's order by escorting her to the hidden superhero bunker. When Lila shows up, she notices Gwen and will leave the bunker. Gwen rudely approaches Lila and claims that Will is taking someone else to the dance because he doesn't like her. Lila is so angry that she orders Gwen to tell Will not to talk to her ever again. Ignoring Will, Lila storms away. Gwen acknowledges telling Lila to keep away when Will confronts her. Will, furious, sends everyone home after declaring he's finished with her. His parents, who are upset with Will for throwing a party, rejoin the mayhem. Steve, who had great expectations for Gwen, is shocked when Will says he isn't leaving after Josie threatens to ban him from homecoming. Will asks Lila to meet him at the Chinese restaurant in a later message, but she doesn't reply. Lila never shows up at the restaurant where Will waits for her. He encounters Warren as he is about to leave. Warren mockingly says he doesn't care when Will inquires about Lila, but he soon acknowledges that Lila was merely acting to accompany him to homecoming in order to arouse Will's jealousy. Warren admits that Lila has feelings for Will, but he doesn't know if she still feels that way. Despite Josie's attempts to persuade him otherwise, Will declines to go to homecoming the next day. When he goes through his parents' yearbook while alone in the superhero bunker, he discovers that Sue and Gwen look exactly alike. He discovers that Sue is carrying the pacifier, which is Royal Pain's device, and concludes that Gwen must have taken it during the celebration. Will phones Ron for a ride to Sky High because he is determined to stop her. Gwen gives Will's parents the Hero of the Year award at the homecoming party, and to their surprise, she reveals herself as Royal Pain and puts on her villain costume. Her sidekick, Stitches, gives her the pacifier, which Gwen uses to turn Steve, Josie, and the other heroes into babies. Will's friends escape through the vents just as Will arrives, and they verify Gwen's identity before Penny, Lash, and Speed attack. Warren instructs Will to stop Gwen while he and the others deal with her minions. Gwen reveals she is Royal Pain, not her mother, and she explains her plan to use the pacifier to create an army of evil babies who will rule the world. According to Penny, Gwen tampered with the school's anti-gravity apparatus, which made Sky High descend toward Earth. Lila and the others identify the issue, which is an electrical wire that has to be cut. Magenta turns into a test guinea pig and works quickly to chew through the wire before it is destroyed because only a tiny animal can pass through. Ron stops Stitches and seizes the initiative as he tries to flee with a bus full of young heroes. Meanwhile, Will attacks Gwen but becomes distracted as Lila and Warren arrive. Seizing the chance, Gwen punches Will out of the school. Mid-fall, Will finds he can fly and soars back to meet Gwen. Will uses his superpowers to delay the school's fall as he glides beneath it. The situation is avoided just as Magenta has finished chewing through the wire. Everyone is saved when Will raises the school back into the sky. Will and his pals then assist in restoring the infant heroes to their normal state. Steve and Josie tell Will that saving the day was what really mattered, and he apologizes to his parents for allowing Gwen to steal the pacifier. When Steve and Josie get the Hero of the Year medal from Mr. Boy, they pass it to the sidekicks, acknowledging that they are the true heroes. Gwen, Stitches, and their group are imprisoned by Principal Powers in order to get them ready for prison. Mr. Medulla declares with pride at the homecoming celebration that the pacifier has been permanently destroyed. Everyone joins in the celebration, dancing, and having a good time. In the story's conclusion, Will is surrounded by those who have always believed in him